Hello my fellow book lovers, welcome to today's video. I did not realize I never filmed the intro for it, so here it is. Kind of been debating on the way I wanted to film the intro anyway because this video is a special type of video. As you guys may have noticed, I am no longer in school. I am actually an adult and don't go to school anymore. I mean, I was in college, but I'm taking a break right now. As you guys may have noticed, like I said, I am no longer a student. It's back to school era. You know, like we're all in our schoolisha back to school era right now, you know what I mean? So I figured, why don't I read books that remind me of going back to school? Like reading books that I would have read if I was going back to school, or books that make me feel like excited about the way you would feel when you were going back to school, like at the beginning of the year. Granted, I hated school, but the first day of school and the going back to school jitters, those were a thing. Those were a thing that I definitely felt, and I always felt excited about my first day of school and getting to wear a cute outfit and seeing everyone who's in my classes and things like that. That's what this video is. I decided to read books that made me feel like I was going back to school. Almost all young adult books. I read 3 books in this video, and I'm excited for you guys to see which ones I read, because let me tell you, this was a good reading video, okay? This was a good one. I'm not gonna drag on any longer. We already know what this video is. We already know what it's about. So let's just get right into it. Okay, I've actually decided I'm gonna start with Tangled Up in You for this video because honestly, I feel like it's gonna be the biggest disappointment. And well, okay, I don't wanna say disappointment. I wanna say it's gonna be like the biggest, I don't wanna say letdown either. I'm just saying I'm not gonna like this one as much as I'll probably like the other 2 books in this video. So I wanna start off with this so that I can at least end like on a high note, you know? So yeah, we're gonna start with Tangled Up in You. I don't know anything about it other than the fact that it is a Rapunzel retelling. Okay, so I've only read 1 chapter so far, and like I already expected something different. Like the way that the parents are in this book already, and this is only chapter 1, remember, so it's not really like a spoiler because you find out very early on, so controlling. Like it's really weird. Like they literally were like, you know, because they didn't want her to go to school to begin with, and she's already older, and they were like, oh, if I hear anything about a 5-year plan or summer semesters or a study abroad program, will be yanking you out of there so fast. And I'm like, huh? So yeah, so far it's going really weird, but I guess we'll see what happens. Okay, it's much later. Oh my god, it is so much later. Sorry if you can hear the air conditioning, it's on right now, but it is much later. And I am actually on page 190 in this book right now, and actually it's so cute. Like it's so much cuter than what I thought it was gonna be. Like I honestly haven't wanted to put it down. Like I literally just like keep getting all these like really giddy feelings and be like, oh my god. It's actually really, really cute. It's obviously a young adult romance because it's a Rapunzel retelling. It talks about things, but like it doesn't like, you know, there's nothing in it. It's a young adult. But there's only like 300 pages in this book. Yeah, it's just over 300. So I mean, I'm more than halfway through, but yeah, it's actually really good. It's really cute. I'm actually pleasantly surprised. Basically, as you guys know, it is a Tangled retelling. But what I like about it is that it's not a play-by-play of Tangled. Like I have read another Tangled retelling before, and that one literally was like just Tangled. It was literally just the play-by-play of Tangled, and like the only thing that was like really different about that one was that it was set in like more modern day, whereas this one is different enough where like if this wasn't being told as a Tangled retelling, it could be definitely played off as just a normal like young adult romance, like coming of age romance. There's obviously some certain things in here that just like literally make it Tangled. If some of those things were kind of like just like left out and were not like part of like who the main girl is because she's supposed to be Rapunzel, you could 100% take this as just like a young adult like coming of age like romance book. I'm really liking it. I did not have good hopes for this. I'm really liking it. Anyways, I'm gonna continue reading it. I don't know when I'm gonna finish it, but I'll update you tomorrow. I probably won't end up finishing it then. But anyways, they're so cute though. Like the couple is so cute. Like literally I keep like giggling and smiling and like my literally my chest gets all these like tingles in it and I'm like it's like weird. It's so weird. I'm sure you guys know what I mean. Love that. Okay, I'm gonna keep reading. I want you guys to know that this hit way harder than I thought it was going to. Let's just say I'm pleasantly surprised, okay? I read this in one sitting, in one day. I simply could not put it down. And am I being dramatic? Honestly, no. Because when I tell you my expectations for this book were actually so extremely low, and then it just like far exceeded them, I just don't know how to explain that. You know what I mean? So I don't need to go into too much detail about this book, but it's basically, you know, as you guys know, it is a Tangled retelling. I think they did a great job of retelling this story, but not making it a play-by-play of the actual like Disney princess adaptation. When I was looking at the Goodreads reviews, a lot of people said that they had actually never seen Tangled. That to me is absurd. But the second thing is the fact that like people had never seen Tangled and like that you wouldn't get like the references or something like that within this book makes me a little sad, honestly. But I really liked it. Like I said, I was pleasantly surprised with this, okay? This is a fun little young adult romance, and it's like fun and a good time when you need it to be. Fun and silly, and just like the main girl character, Ren, she is definitely very bubbly, very outgoing, and like that's just like one of her charms to her. And obviously she grew up very sheltered, so she had like never like had a cell phone. She was very closed off. She didn't really know much about like social interactions. She would just talk and like ask people questions, and she was very quirky, and like people just thought like, hey, it's because she grew up different, like her life was different than ours, which makes sense. But I really love that about her character. Super fun concept. I really loved the way that they retold this story. I don't want to like give anything away, but it was just super fun when it needed to be, but also like there was seriousness in it when it came to like the actual like sticking to the storyline of Rapunzel, of like what happens. Because if you've seen Rapunzel, you know she was taken away from the kingdom. She is actually the lost princess type of thing. Not the same concept within this, but along the same guidelines of what, you know, happens in Rapunzel. She's not a princess or anything like that. That is stolen away. But she goes on this fun little adventure. It's a really nice coming of age story, and I don't really have much else to say about it. Honestly, I just like was so pleasantly surprised. Like it gave me whiplash with how much I absolutely loved this book. It was just so cute, so fun, and I just couldn't put it down. I really could not put it down. And the fact that I started off with this book thinking it was gonna be the worst one, and now I'm scared. Because what if this is the best one? Honestly, I'm glad that I was not disappointed in this, because the last book I read by Christina Lauren was Love in Other Words, and granted I know that this is part of the Meant to Be series, which is just other authors are writing basically retellings of these fairy tales, so I know this isn't like something they particularly were like, oh, we're gonna come up with this new book and write it type of thing, and it be, you know, this retelling. But I really liked it, okay? I really do love their writing and their writing style. I just didn't love in Other Words. That's the part of me that was scared. But again, I loved it, so I guess there's nothing to complain about. Anyways, moving on. I've decided to like switch up the genre a little bit, and I've decided that next we're reading If We Were Villains by ML Rio. I'm super excited for this. I have no idea what it's about. I just know that it's a young adult dark academia. I am super excited. I've heard that it's good and that people really like it. I am also hoping that that is true and that stays the case. Let's get to reading, shall we? Okay, it's a little while later. I am actually only 10% into the book right now, and I have some thoughts and some updates basically to tell you. Basically within the prologue, and then basically what you are finding out right now, the story is following multiple different people. They are at this college where they all study, like a prestigious art school where they all study theater. They're seniors that year, and so the play that they're doing is Julius Caesar. So they're really going into depth with all the characters and who everyone is, and then who they all represent within Julius Caesar. Now, let me just state this. I haven't read Julius Caesar since 10th grade. Been more than 10 years. More than 10 years, okay? I can't remember, and now granted, I know what happens in Julius Caesar, I know the premise, but like all the characters, I can't remember exactly what their role is and what they played. But I basically have a theory. Well, basically, like, it kind of gives you a theory of like what's gonna happen in this book, especially based off the prologue of what you read and what's to come, and like how all of this is like foreshadowing within these characters and within this story. That is basically the only update I have. I don't really have anything else. The only other thing I want to say is that granted, I am only 10% into the book, so I can't like really form too much of an opinion yet. I am just like not sure if I'm into it. Like, I read one Dark Academia before, and from what I'm understanding, this is supposed to be a young adult Dark Academia. I'm hoping it kind of stays that way. I could be wrong. I really did think that this was young adult, but I don't know. This might not be, but we'll see with how the rest of it goes. For someone who personally, like, I, did theater, stuff like that growing up and like in college, and I loved it. I loved theater. Went to school for theater and stuff like that. I find it extremely boring and pretentious reading about people who are in school for theater. Like, I don't know what it is. I've read other books that have kind of like this background of like they're in this pretentious school for theater and stuff like that, and I don't know what it is about it, but it just kind of bores me because like I know like granted, I did not go to a pretentious school like this at all. Granted, like the way that they're talking about like how they have fun and everything like that makes sense. Like, I remember having a lot of fun. I just don't think that the experience is like, from what my experience, from what they're experiencing, is not like this. I just find it so incredibly boring. Hello you guys, it's a little bit later. I had to take a break from reading for a little while because I had such a bad like headache. Take a nap. So I am currently still only about like 75% of the way in. Less than 100 pages left, so hopefully I should be finished with this soon. The only thing that I'm really like just not enjoying about this book is the fact that it's so slow paced, because I feel like even the first few, like getting into the first like 20% of the book took me forever, and I was like, why is this taking me so long? Despite the fact that some of the chapters are really actually short, like so incredibly short, like they're taking me even longer to finish than like what my thing says on my Kindle. Like, it says 5 minutes left in this chapter, but like if I was like timing myself where I would look at the clock or something, it would be even longer than the time that it said that it would take me to finish the chapter. It's very unusual for me. Usually when a book is like super fast paced and everything, like I can like speed through it. It's just so slow. Like, the pacing of the book is so incredibly slow. Otherwise, I actually am really enjoying it now. Once I hit, I want to say about like the 35% mark, that's when I started to really get into it. Like, I don't know, the beginning was just so slow and so like kind of boring. Like, the prologue really set up for like what was to come in the book, and obviously, like I said, like they talked about Julius Caesar a lot, so like you kind of knew what was going to go on, and it's not a secret on the back of the book, but basically at this point the friend has already been murdered, or he died. You still don't know exactly what happens. So basically you're in this, like, Oliver was put away for this crime that at this current moment in time you don't even know if he did it or not, and basically like everyone is accounted for at the time of the friend dying. But especially since you're in Oliver's point of view, you're kind of like, why was he put away for this crime when he was accounted for during that time frame? But it also could be leading to this unreliable narrator type of book, you know what I mean? Because I have a few theories of like what it could be between two of the characters based on what happened. I'm kind of like, interesting. Like, I feel like it's this if it wasn't, if it wasn't like an accident. Because at this point in the book, you still don't know. But it's not a secret that friend dies because it literally says it on the description of the book. Because I read that afterwards. So after I'd already been like halfway through the book. It's not a secret. Otherwise I would have not have said anything, but it's not a secret because it says it on the back of the book. So yeah, we're basically in this point of like not knowing. I don't know, maybe we're in this like really unreliable narrator sense. I don't know. But part of me is like, I personally don't think Oliver, whose point of view we're in, who like is telling us the story, did it or did anything. I'm actually going to be really surprised if it ends up being him or something like that. Like, anyways, I'm going to continue reading. I am hoping I'm going to finish it very soon. Like I said, I'm about 75% in. Let's just finish her off, shall we? So I just finished If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. It's honestly kind of heavy once you get towards the ending of it. I don't know where I read or saw that this was supposed to be like young adult, but honestly, it's definitely not young adult. I mean, I wouldn't say it's inappropriate for young adult audiences, but in a way it kind of is because it just like deals with such heavy topics within it so subtly that you don't realize. And if you don't know anything about Shakespeare or anything like that, a lot of it will be confusing. Now, I know very little about Shakespeare because I've obviously, I studied some of it when I was in school, but it wasn't like part of the curriculum that interests me. So when you're like reading like the text and like the speeches from anything that Shakespeare wrote, it's all kind of confusing, but it all means something. And if you don't know what it means, then like you're kind of just like left there like wondering, which was me kind of part of the time. If I had looked it up, I probably would have spoiled it for myself because I would have like picked things up and everything. I liked it. It was good. It was very slow paced though. And it didn't surprise me because obviously I knew what was gonna happen. Like, I'm not gonna tell you, but I knew what was happening. But when it came to like a certain point, I was like, oh yeah, like it kind of makes sense. I don't know. I think I'm just like so like about it, like, because it's so heavy. Like, it is. I don't want to say it's so heavy because it's not, but it does sit heavily in your brain after reading it because of how like dark and almost culty the themes of the book are. Obviously because it's a dark academia. Like I said, I don't know where I got the idea that this was young adult, but it definitely is not. So that is troublesome to me. But no, I'm not recommending this as a young adult book. I do recommend the book, honestly. Like, if you're someone who's like really, I would definitely describe this as like mystery as well, because like obviously the mystery that's unfolding, it's not like the other, like I've read one other dark academia book by Mona Awad that I did not like at all. This is definitely much different of a tone. I still felt kind of stupid while reading it, but at the same time I didn't. I think because like I had the knowledge of Shakespeare, so I kind of knew, and I had the knowledge of theater, obviously being a theater person. I don't know, but it does sit like heavily. Like when I was reading the very ending, like when you're in the epilogue, it's like so weird because like when you're reading it, you're like, wow, okay, but not for like what you're expecting. I don't know, because I don't want to give anything away of like why I thought this way. The part that's surprising, or that like you'd think is surprising, didn't really surprise me. It's more of the way he was after. I don't know, just makes me also kind of sad and gloomy. Don't know what I'm gonna do. The next book I know I'm gonna read is Betting on You by Lynn Painter. I'm definitely gonna be reading this one next because I need something lighter in my life. I'm not gonna start it today because I still have a headache and I just like think I really need to take a break from reading. But yeah, I definitely need something light and fluffy like this to get me back out of this funkiness that I'm now feeling from this book. I'll see you guys. See you guys later. I just wanted to give you guys a little update because I literally just spent the past like 30-40 minutes on Reddit about the ending of If We Were Villains. I was confused when I read it too because like I kind of could understand it without like really looking into what he was quoting, and I was just like, that's suspicious, and like I got the feeling of what it was, and then I went to the Reddit. I was like, is this really what's going on? Because I was so confused. Well, not really confused, like, because I kind of knew, but at the same time I didn't know. And so I was just like, let me look this up. So I went to Reddit, and Reddit confirmed, well, it didn't confirm anything. It just confirmed what I thought. None of this is making sense. But anyways, if you read it, you'll get what I mean. So yeah, yep, that's how this is going. That's how this is going. Honestly, after reading a book like this, it just like, I don't even know. Like my everything is just like, damn. Like imagine like that being real life. Like when I read like silly little romance books, I don't ever get like that. I'm literally like, oh my god, it's so silly, so happy, like blah blah blah. Now I'm over here and I read stuff like this, and I'm literally like contemplating everything about life. I think I've discovered I'm not a dark academia girly though. I think if it was like true young adult dark academia, whatever I'm trying to say, I could enjoy it, because I really did want to read Truly Devious, which I know is young adult. So I think I'm gonna give that series a try. I'm not gonna buy it anything or anytime soon. I don't have it, I'm not gonna buy it because I'm on a book buying bin. Anyways, I think I'm gonna try that, and then after, if that's not it for me, then I am not a dark academia girly, for sure. But after reading this stuff, I'm kind of like, huh, you know, it just puts me in like a weird mood, weird headspace, you know? Good evening, you guys. I've actually decided that, sorry I'm whispering, you can't hear me. I think you should be able to hear me. I've actually decided I'm gonna start Betting on You by Lynn Painter tonight because, okay, so hear me out. If We Were Villains, definitely heavy, definitely a lot, definitely all consuming in my brain. Spoiler alert, I don't even know how it happened. It was a 5 stars. Literally, I have been thinking about it this whole time, and I don't even know how to feel or what to do just on my brain. Okay, but it's so heavy. It's like one of those things where it's like not like, oh my god, I can't stop thinking about it. It's like, no, I can't stop thinking about it, you know? But it like sits so hard and it hits so heavy, especially with everything that like goes on in the book, that it's like, oh my god, you know what I mean? So yeah, I literally went from my 3.25 to literally 5 stars in like 20 minutes. Like after I went down that rabbit hole of going on Reddit, it like reopened my eyes, and I was like, oh my god, this is a 5-star read. This is a 5 stars. So I guess we'll see by tomorrow, after sitting on it, if I'm still thinking it's gonna be 5 stars. It could go back down. Okay, I just wanted to give you a little spoiler alert. Anyways, I've decided I'm gonna start betting on you because I just need something light and fun, because I'm having a stressful time right now with that book sitting heavy on my brain. So I'm gonna start betting on you tonight. I'll see you tomorrow. Good afternoon, you guys. It is the next day. I just wanted to give you guys a little update from Betting on You. So last night I got to page 61. I got to chapter 8, and so far actually it's really cute. I have read 2 Lynn Painter books before. Better Than the Movies, that was a 5-star read for me. I absolutely loved that book. And then I read Happily Never After by Lynn Painter, and I didn't love that one really at all. It was like so boring, so slow paced, and it was less than 300 pages, and I felt like it took me forever to read. Whereas Better Than the Movies like was so quick paced, it was such a cute concept, just like a fun time, right? Having a fun time with this too. So basically you start off with Bailey and Charlie. Bailey and Charlie, they meet on a plane, and they're basically both a part of like this divorced parents club that Charlie like mentions in the first like chapter or something, because he was just like, yeah, it's a part of the divorced parents club, like you flying back and forth to go see the other parent. And the first few chapters take place over a course of a few years, and then literally the chapter I just read was present day chapter of where like they see each other again for the first time in like over a year. From there, like they're gonna see each other obviously more often, just basically based off of like what happened in that chapter and like where they were. But so far I'm really enjoying it. Like the banter between Charlie and Bailey is so cute. I just like love Lynn Painter's young adult. Like I think her young adult is like by far superior than anything else. And it's a really fun time. Like, I literally was like, this is so cute, like, already. Like, so far the interactions were already so cute, and I can already tell that I'm gonna absolutely eat this up, okay? I'm gonna absolutely eat it. I literally am not even like halfway through the book and I'm like, you should read it. Either way, I wanted to give you that update because I am really liking it. But I also just wanted to talk to you guys about If We Were Villains again for a second, because I literally cannot stop thinking about it, replaying some of the stuff in my head and being like, wow, okay. It's definitely like basically based off of my thoughts from yesterday. It's not gonna be something that's for everybody, and I realistically like don't think dark academia is for me. But that book literally just like hit so different and like triggered like some different part of my brain that was like, wow, like, wow. You know what I mean? And it's so weird because like as of right now, I literally like, I want to buy the physical copy so that I can go in and reread it and like literally like deep dive into everything that is going on to like see like the true meaning behind all of like the Shakespearean lines that they were saying. Like, I remember slightly some of the stuff just from when I was in school, right? So like reading it, it was still kind of confusing. Some of the language just because of like, you know, it's old English type of thing. So some of the language I was kind of like, what does this mean again? And I couldn't remember. Some of the stuff I could remember, so I kind of got the gist of it. But no, now I'm like, okay, now I want to go back in and like deep dive these monologues that they had. They were speaking to each other and like all these conversations that they had while speaking to each other, like within Shakespeare, and really dive into like what they were really saying to each other and what they meant. Because like I could understand from like the context of the scene of like what was going on, but like really deep diving into the words that they were actually saying. And I still don't know how I feel about the ending. Like the ending, I don't know how I feel. Like part of me is like, okay, like I don't know if I necessarily believe it or not. I don't know, because I don't want to say anything without giving any spoilers, and like I just like you can't say anything to not like, you know what I mean? Like I can't really explain it without giving spoilers. So I'm just living my life. Okay, anyways, I'm going to see you guys later. Hello you guys, it's been actually quite a few days since I've updated you. I have been really bad about updating in my videos lately, so I apologize for that. But anyways, I'm here to update you on Betting on You because I have started this. I think I said that. I don't know what I've said, but I currently have made it 133 pages in. So far, I'm really liking it. Like, I think Bailey and Charlie are so stinking cute. I think the concept of this book is gonna be really cute. Not too sure like how I feel about it in a general sense yet, because basically based off of what is going on, it's like they're both children of divorce, and that's just something I can proudly say I don't have experience in. I'm really grateful that I don't have experience with that. So I can't really relate to them on that level of like seeing your parent date someone else, because like I'm like reading it and I'm kind of like, why are they being so immature about their parent dating someone else? Granted, they are in high school, like they're 17 years old, but I'm like, at that age, I feel like you shouldn't be acting like that towards a parent's partner. Like, to me, that's just weird, but again, I don't have experience with it, so I can't relate to it. But I do think that Bailey and Charlie are really cute because they do have this like special little friendship and little bond because they're both children of divorce, and it's something that they can both relate to that other people that surround them can't. So I really like that. I actually don't really know the entire concept of this book or like the plot of it. Yeah, so like I literally could not tell you a single thing about it. But I do think that they're really cute. I think they're gonna be really cute together. They're just like their chemistry and their dynamic is really cute. I keep saying cute because I don't have any other word to describe them because they are 17 years old. They are children. Anyways, Charlie is giving me Wes Bennett in every single way. Granted, you know, Lynn Painter did write Better Than the Movies as well, but Charlie is also just really giving Wes, and Bailey to me is also really giving Liz. Like, it's just like they're very similar characters. I feel like it's just like the situations and the storyline is different that they're in, you know what I mean? But either way, that's the update I wanted to give you. Just a quick little one. I don't know when I'm gonna be able to read again. I'll probably end up reading tonight, obviously, like before I bed, but I don't usually film like if I'm in bed reading, just because like I just don't. It's too dark and I'm just literally sitting there reading. It's going well, and I'm really liking it so far. tell you guys, currently listening to an audiobook. But the audiobook has nothing to do with this video. Anyways, I am coming on here to tell you that I actually ended up finishing Betting on You by Lynn Painter yesterday. I forgot that my dryer was going. Ooh, let me go close my bathroom door. I'm gonna sit up like this on my legs, which is probably uncomfortable. Also, my pants are unbuttoned because sitting in jeans is just not comfortable. Anyways, I finished Betting on You by Lynn Painter yesterday, and I ended up really, really liking it. It's just such a cute little fun, sweet high school romance. It's not too deep. It's really easy to follow. It's just like a fun time, you know what I mean? Like, reminds me exactly of like going back to school, because it literally is like beginning of the school year that all of this stuff is going on. I love Lynn Painter's young adult books. They're absolutely amazing because they're so fun. They definitely dive into some deeper topics. It's kind of nice. The one thing I didn't like though was, okay, maybe there's more than one thing I didn't like. The main thing was like, I definitely felt like they were just like a copy and paste of Wes and Liz. Definitely the storyline different. I appreciate that. Like, yeah, I just like felt like they were a copy and paste of Wes and Liz. It could have been their age as well, but the other thing that I didn't like was like how immature they were acting about like the relationships their parents were in. But granted, I know I said this earlier, but like I obviously cannot connect to that on any level. You know what I mean? Like I would not know like how one would feel. So I guess I can't really comment on that a lot. It was just from my perspective. You know, there were certain things that they were really immature about, but they're kids. So I guess it kind of makes sense. But either way, I ended up really, really liking this one. I had a fun time. So yeah. But that means we've come to the end of this video. I had just finished reading all the books that remind me of going back to school. Honestly, I'm gonna say this was a great reading video. Honestly, like rating wise, like, and the amount of enjoyment I got from these books, crazy, amazing. I absolutely loved it. So let's go over all the books that I ended up reading and let me give you their ratings and stuff like that. So first of all, I wanna just point out, I only have 2 of the physical books. The other one I read on my Kindle. Like, look at the little contrast of them. Like, they're almost like the same, like same color of the covers, and then like the pinks and the purple, very similar, which I love. So just like cute little like opposites. Isn't that so cute? I didn't even like think of that when I picked up both of the books for this video. But anyways, okay, the first book I ended up reading was Tangled Up in You by Christina Lauren. And this is a meant to be novel. So this is like a whole series that like different authors write, and they're basically just writing retellings of fairy tales. This one is obviously a Rapunzel retelling, and it was so cute. I absolutely loved the 2 main characters, Ren and Fitz. I think I talked about it in the video. I don't think I need to explain it anymore. Ren and Fitz, you know, Ren is obviously Rapunzel, Fitz is obviously Flynn Rider. They go on this grand adventure across the country in search of something that Ren is looking for. Yeah, it's a super fun read, honestly. Like, I was not expecting to like this as much as I did. I read it in one sitting. I literally could not put it down. It was so cute and it was so good. And I literally read this one first because I really thought it was gonna disappoint me, and it did not. It actually, like, a huge surprise in how much I enjoyed this book. It was just so fun and cute, and like, you know, it's just a retelling of Rapunzel, you know? So like, you just go into it thinking it's gonna be a fun, goofy time, and it is. It really is. So yeah, I actually ended up rating this a 4.25 stars. Like I said, really loved this book. It was just fun. I don't know if I'm gonna read any other books in this like series, essentially, like this meant to be series. I've actually never even heard of it, but I know that there are other books in the series that like have already been written. Like, this isn't like the first installment. I don't know if I'm gonna read another one. The only reason I read this one was because it was by Christina Lauren, and I like Christina Lauren's writing when it comes to like really fun rom-coms. Next up, I read If We Were Villains by ML Rio, and I'm just gonna come right out of the gate. This was a 5-star read. Like, 5 stars. Like, I literally cannot even talk to you guys enough about like how surprising this book was for me. Okay, like I literally in a 20-minute time span rated this book a 3.25 stars to a 5-star read. I haven't had a 5-star read since January. We are now in September. Isn't that crazy? There were just so many things that after the fact I absolutely loved about this book, and it's so weird because it's such a heavy book and it really makes you think, and I think that's what I loved more about it, and like all of the connections to like Shakespeare and stuff like that you really connect with. And I didn't like love this book till like, oh my god, I love this, and I just like wanting to like love gush over it, you know what I mean? Like, it's a hard like I love this book, and like this isn't a book I'm recommending to everybody. Like this is definitely not everybody's cup of tea. I think you have to be a particular type of person to really, for one, understand, and two, appreciate the book for what it is and like what you interpret it as, because it's a dark academia, as you guys know. I think I've said that it is a dark academia. They are at a prestigious art school where they're all in theater. And basically at this school, they only focus on Shakespeare. So basically there's a lot of Shakespeare talk. So if you don't know anything about Shakespeare, this is going to be a little bit confusing for you. Like I said in the video, I'm not anywhere near well versed in Shakespeare, but from being in theater myself in college and, you know, having to study Shakespeare and stuff like that, I remember a little bit, especially when it comes to like the language and everything like that, because it's not like just like thrown out there, like obvious what they're saying, you know. I can't remember if it's Old English, what it even is. It's like there's a lot of references to Shakespeare, and they talk to each other a lot, like within Shakespearean dialogue and stuff like that. So if you don't understand it, like a lot of the book is just kind of gonna go over your head. So now like I have a very slim understanding, and like remembering some of the meanings for ways that some of the things are phrased, I was able to pick up easier on like what they were saying and like getting the gist across and like what they actually meant behind those words and like what they were saying to each other when they were speaking, like having conversations using dialogue from Shakespeare's plays. I don't want to go too far into it. I absolutely loved this book. It was a 5 stars. The ending, I think, is what did it for me, where it like really leaves everything up into interpretation. You are following Oliver throughout this entire story, and I loved being in Oliver's point of view. Like there were times where I felt like it was really boring, to be quite honest, and it wasn't until after I had finished it that I was like, oh my god. And now I can't stop thinking about it. I can't stop like going back and like talking to my other friends about it and like recommending this book to people who I think would genuinely enjoy it. Like I recommended this to one of my college friends, Emily, who is literally like a theater manager, and I was like, I think you're gonna love this book. And so I hope that she does, because if she doesn't, then I'm gonna be disappointed. You have to be a particular type of person, because I know dark academia, I do not think is for me. Like I do not think I would pick up another dark academia book. Like it's like, I think it's like the aftermath and like the way it gets you thinking and the way that like everything is perceived within the book. It's like, if you love it or not. That's all I have to say. The interpretation I've got and the way that I follow the story and the way that I remember things, and like when I go back to thinking about it, it's just insane. And I'm like, wow, like how powerful and hard-hitting all of it was to me personally. Just like the symbolism and the themes and all of it really gets me. Okay, and I still can't stop thinking about the book, and I absolutely love it. So it was a 5 stars. 5 freaking stars, you guys. Like I cannot believe I haven't had a 5-star read since January. I've had 2 this year, so I'm really hoping that I can get another one. At least, honestly, I want to get at least 5-star reads this year, because if I don't, then like crazy. And then lastly, the one I just talked about, which was Betting on You by Lynn Painter. Again, I absolutely loved. It was such a cute, fun little rom-com, and I actually recommend this to basically all readers, because if you're just looking for a good fun time, this is it. Now, do I think it's a little long? Yeah, but honestly, it's fine because it's such a quick paced read. Like it took me kind of a few days to read, surprisingly, but that was just, I think, me, a personal thing. Like I just didn't have as much time to read it as the week went on, so it just took me a little bit longer. Interesting. I just noticed that all the main characters of her books have red hair. I absolutely loved it. I ended up rating this one a 3.25 stars, and my battery is flashing. Love that for me. But like I said, some of the other stuff about it was that I just didn't like, I don't know, like some of the things I just didn't like about it, like the whole divorce aspect, because I can't relate to that, and then like the way that they were acting because of the divorces, and like I said, things I can't relate to, and the immaturity of it. But I like that they were able to connect to each other and grow and become friends because of this situation that they both could relate to. That I absolutely loved. Anyways, that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm really gonna wrap this up so quick because my battery is flashing. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it. Please let me know if you've read any of these books, if you like any of them. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions on them. Don't forget to follow me on all of my social medias, as well as subscribing to my channel, and I will see you guys next time.